So, Martin, we have our last question for this podcast. So, many couples come to me and they tell me that when they get married, they have that spark, that intimacy, and that emotional connection for the first few months, which we call the
Yeah.
honeymoon period. But
Yes.
after a few months, that spark and intimacy, it starts to drop down,
Hmm.
and they don't even feel like talking with each other or sharing some things with each other. So,
Yeah.
what is the reason for this decrease in spark and emotional intimacy after a period of time in married couples?
So our brain is basically designed to always look for new experiences. And
Okay.
we find that exciting, right? And
Mm,
falling in love is probably the most exciting experience, right?
mm,
And so there are some new pathways created in our brain. But then if the relationship goes into routine, right? So at the beginning, you do exciting things together. You go out on dates, you go
mm,
to places that you never went to, right? And you do things together that you probably never have done with another person in that
yeah,
way. But
yeah.
then you get into routine. And so one key aspect is to continue to create new exciting experiences together
Okay.
in the relationship. Like what
Mm,
I like to do was I call them surprise dates, where I
mm,
would make some arrangement as simple as go out to dinner and go to a movie, but not tell my partner, where we would go. Or once
wow.
I flew for our anniversary with my wife to Vegas, Las Vegas, where we got married and had the hotel booked and the show booked and the dinner in the rotating restaurant. And we spent a few days.
Mm,
Right? That was something that then we remembered. Right? It was a new experience together for us. And that's the problem, what specifically males. See,
mm,
our role is to get a woman pregnant. And that's what we call romance. And once we had sex with a woman and
mm,
theoretically got her pregnant, then we
mm,
go into our protector and provider role. We think it's enough if we bring home the kill, right? Traditionally, we kill the animal, we bring it home, and the family has something to eat, right? Or the man brings home that paycheck.
mm,
And for 10,000s of years, 100,000s of years, that was enough because we were in survival mode. But this is no longer enough for modern and postmodern relationships.
mm,
And so the expectation is that, we create ongoing romance and novel experiences.
mm,
And that when issues come up, that we talk about them and
mm.
learn from the conflict and heal from the conflict, because that also creates new. Bill and Melinda Gates said we can no longer grow together. Right? They felt there's no more new connections in our brains created together, maybe with other people, but we can no longer do it together.
Together.
That's why we want to go with other people. And it was with my wife too. She
Mm,
could not share my experiences in the spiritual and new age world. And I started to create these connections with other women. And that became so exciting for me that she got also more and more scared. This is the trick. It's very simple, but it usually takes the male to take the initiative to create these ongoing,
mm,
interesting, unique
yeah.
experiences. And they
Mm.
can be a little scary. Driving go-karts, right? Or something like that. It will say, oh, I don't want to do this, too dangerous, right? But that excitement creates, right, the adrenaline, and that's what we want to do. Jump out of an airplane or something.
Yeah.
Do exciting things together, nothing
Mm.
boring, like
Yeah.
not a knitting class. That's not exciting enough. Right?
Yeah.
There needs to be some excitement.
Yeah.
Watch a
Mm.
scary movie together. That's exciting, not a romantic movie. Do
Great.
things that are exciting.
Yeah, so it's not a passive process. Like both the partners in the relationship have to put active efforts to reignite that spark. Yeah,
Yeah. And
that's
know your
amazing.
partner's love language.
Hmm.
I'm single, I'm dating, so I don't go on a date with anyone who didn't do the love language test first, because
Hmm.
even if she doesn't share my love languages, at least I want to know what her love languages are. And so if gift is her highest love language, then I know I need to bring some little gift for the first date.
Okay.
Right? If touch is, then she wants to shake hands or maybe get a hug, right, before we
Mhm.
sit down.
So Martin, like this was an amazing conversation which we had. Like I also learned many things about relationships which I did not even know. And I'm sure that our audience has also learned many things, and it has sparked new ideas in them which can help them to build more happy, conscious and meaningful relationships. So Martin, what final advice do you have for people who are still struggling in their relationships and want to build more fulfilling relationships? What final advice would you like to give them?
Read my books.
Yeah, that's the best advice I would give to anyone because it also completely changed my life after I read your books. Yeah.
But I would say, just my books are very big and very complex.
Yeah.
Seek help from people like you,
Hmm.
find professional help from somebody that you both resonate
Hmm.
with. That's just the most important part. And
Wow.
and look at your reservations of really opening yourself up, term
Hmm.
called self-validating intimacy by David Schnark, right? Have the courage, overcome the fear of speaking your truth with your partner, and you will be surprised how open the other
Hmm.
person usually is if it really comes from your heart.
Wow.
Right? That's
Wow.
what you didn't see it, but I made this gesture. Not like speaking here, but speak from your heart. Learn to express feelings and
Yeah.
authentic needs, right?
Hmm.
Reveal who you are. It takes specifically for men, they often think if they become vulnerable, right? If they share something that's maybe not so glorious, that shows weakness, but that's not true. It
Hmm.
actually shows strength if a man
Yeah.
has the courage to really reveal himself with one caveat. Men always then have to say, and I know how to deal with that, right?
Hmm.
You're not saying, oh, I need your help to deal with my fears. You say, no, I know how to deal with my fears and I have this under control, but I wanted you to know, right, that I'm going through a bit of a hard time right now.
Hmm.
And that requires strength. And also for men to listen to their partner. There's a video called It's Not About the Nail. To
Hmm.
listen to their partner and not hear it as a critique or a complaint towards themselves and go into shame or try to fix her, to just listen and to
Okay.
say, that sounds really hard and I
Hmm.
feel your pain. And if there's anything that I can support you with, let me know. But not say,
Hmm.
oh, do this and this and this, or I don't want to listen to that, or are you saying I'm not good enough, or I make you unhappy and all. No, just say, thank you for
Wow.
sharing this with me. It really touches me. Is there anything you need right now from me? And
Okay.
that's say not fixing, right? So these are so like some basic things.
Wow. So, Martin, I'm sure that our audience was completely inspired by this conversation.